What's going on, guys? I hope you all are doing well today. I just wanted to cover specifically Ethereum today. Frankly, uh, as the days have gone on, you may have noticed that Ethereum is really leading the market at this time due to the hype in regards to the ETH merge and everything like that. Yeah, I wanted to share this with you yesterday, but I completely forgot to post the video, man. Oh, God. I am on LinkedIn. I do post consistently on LinkedIn, Rick Gamboa, R-I-C-K space Gamboa, and I do post my photos there, my snapshots in regards to the market. But anyway, yes, going back to it, yesterday we did have this like broadening ascending wedge. Within that broadening ascending wedge, we had this rising wedge. Both instances, both patterns were actually bearish. Once the rising wedge broke out, and it was actually, as you can see below the whole suite indicator, yeah, it just kind of got pretty gnarly, especially when it broke this rising ascending wedge. Yeah, once it broke the 1.6K support just all the way down. Now, as you can see, there was a back test of this descending um, wedge here, this broadening descending wedge, and there was a backtest. So I got to show you something here. There was well manipulation in the lower term time frames. As you can see here, um, a lot bears were really trying to push the price lower and really tried to get us back inside this descending broadening wedge, because that would have meant way lower prices. These yellow X's, by the way, this is market cipher A, and what's great about market cipher A, it shows whale manipulation in the context of yellow X's. So yeah, if you're interested in that particular indicator, check out the description below, and you'll be able to get that for yourself. But anyway, okay, so a lot of stuff happened here. Let me go back. All right, so we had a descending broadening wedge, like a mini one. Oh, whoops, that is important. I need to leave that there. Okay, we did have a descending broadening wedge, kind of doing a little bit of a play-by-play. I'm going to go to the 15-minute time frame. 15-minute time frame lately has been pretty reliable in regards to pattern trading as well. So we had this like bear flag kind of accumulate right here, and as you can see, the whales just completely dumped the price all the way down to the lower 14 1489, all the way down to the wick low. There was some buyers, a lot of buyers, basically at like 1.5k. Psychological level, it makes sense. I honestly, at this point, I had opened up a long, basically like where did it was about like, I think 1,480 or something like that. Where did I? It was somewhere around here. I forget, man. I think it was like a 1530 or something like that. 15, roughly around here. But anyway, yeah, it did dump more, and I was kind of freaking out. Not gonna lie. But thankfully, my TA was respected here on the 15-minute chart. You do have. Let me unlock that. There you go. Yeah, on the 15-minute, there was this higher low instance that was developing, and I kind of saw that as a potential opportunity. Now, it was either a larger triangle pattern that was going to dump or continue to the downside. Yeah, thankfully, this triangle pattern did break to the upside, and now we're kind of experiencing another instance where we are seeing this break to the, I would say, potentially to the downside. No, not going to lie, I am waiting for a position. I do expect price to come down in this particular case. If you look at the 15-minute, the TSI is curling down on the 15-minute time frame. On the 1 hour, we are in a good spot here. So this dump to the downside, I don't expect it to be a killer by no means, but I do expect the somewhere around here. I do feel like this area that was once resistance should be back tested as support at some point. So I do have some limit orders around this area, not financial advice, more so just what I'm going to do. But yeah, so I've noticed this pattern right here. I don't know if this is exactly a head and shoulders pattern on the lower term time frames, or if it's going to be um, a broadening ascending, another broadening ascending wedge, which is a bearish pattern. So right now the whole suite's still green. The price is still, messing around with the 9 exponential moving average. So I'm going to be waiting until I see preferably an hourly candle close to either like a scalp short. But at the end of the day, I do have limit orders around 1,519 just to make sure if I miss it. As you can see, it's currently getting yeah, there is some strong support. There are bulls stepping up to the plate today. As you can see here as well on the market cipher indicator, we are getting some green here as well, which is a money flow, and the RSI on the market cipher indicator has turned green to regular colors. That just means that the dip is pretty much over, but nonetheless, I do expect some consolidation. I do expect some form of a macro dumpage. I mean, as you can see, this channel, this wedge, I'm sorry, is being respected at this time. So theoretically speaking, we could still kind of play around within it, and until we eventually get some resolution. And I mean, the percentages are better for the bears, if you will. So if you do see you can use the 15-minute time frame to chart it out yourself, to line chart it yourself. It's a little bit more action packed, but it's definitely worth your while. But anyway, yeah. So I do expect us to kind of play around within this channel, or I'm sorry, this wedge, and ultimately break up or down from that particular pattern here. There's a lot of resistance above, so I wouldn't necessarily be surprised if price came back down and to eventually kind of create a higher low situation. We do have this theoretical line of support as well, all the way down here. So I'm keeping my eyes here as well. And we now have ascending support on the chart, so that's interesting to see. Now, I kind of just realized here we do have some form of resistance from this here to here. Interesting. So now, are we creating a larger bear flag? That is something to keep in mind. Just noticed this as I'm talking with y'all here. Is this a bear flag? That's something to take in consideration. But a huge line of resistance uh, is to be here. Okay, so yeah, I wouldn't necessarily expect price to come to the upside all the way here. Interesting. Okay, that's going to help out a lot in regards to the swing position that I'm going to be putting in very soon. Okay, yeah, I'm just going to stick to ETH today. Bitcoin has been kind of slow for me. I'm not a big fan of it right now, so I'm mostly just been focusing on Ethereum. That really what happens with Ethereum happens with everything else at this time. So yeah, going back to it, the hourly, we are kind of cooling off in regards to volatility. This is a volatility indicator, the ADX. Usually these things like to reset. It just means that the moves are going to be less intense from this morning. This morning's move was like super volatile, so that was really fun to kind of see in real time. But anyway, let me go to the TSI. The TSI is pointing to the upside as long as price is above basically 15K. We can expect basically continuation to the upside. Now that is kind of like the line in the sand at this point. The MACD here has the histograms turning green. The MACD indicator, like these lines below, are pointing to the upside. Now there is an opportunity for the bears to kind of like get their hidden divergences in, basically creating these pockets to where hidden bearish divergences. I like to see them as kind of cool off points in that are contrary to the overall trend, meaning that if you see a hidden bearish divergence in a bullish trend, that just means that that is a nice a little valley within the uptrend to maybe get yourself a spot position, or maybe like an actual derivatives position, depending on your preferences. Not necessarily financial advice, just something that a lot of people do take advantage of. But anyway, I'm going to go to the daily, because the daily here, money flow is pointing to the downside, so I would be very concerned, for, in regards to opening up fresh spot long positions. Basically, it just means to me that, like, the market is kind of like coming out of a huge, basically, of a huge dumpage, like, is potentially on the path. Not gonna lie. Yeah, the daily doesn't look too hot. Not gonna lie here. It's not uh, looking too good. There's still room to the downside. Sorry, I was getting some messages on Discord here, and they're pretty distracting. Okay, I gotta turn that off here. Sorry. Anyway, all right, on the 4 hour, it did cross the zero line, which is rather concerning. Is this a point where we could see a lower high in the future? Because if you go to like the 2 hour is looking a little bit more bullish. As long as price is above 1526, we're good. If you go to the 37 minute, which is a precursor to the 1 hour, we're still looking really, 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 really healthy. Now, it was a clean break to the downside, essentially. So what I'm kind of curious about is the overall macro trend. That's something that I can't necessarily put my thought process into at this time. So I'm curious to see, is this a channel? Is this a rising channel? Or is this a bear flag? Now, if this is a bear flag, oof, my goodness. That's a huge dump, I would say. I would probably, instead of putting it all the way up here, which, I mean, theoretically you can. I mean, oh my god. Um, Let me go to the 1 hour, but yeah, it'll probably be something like this, I'd assume. Let me change that into a easier color to see because I have a black background. Alrighty, okay, so yeah, if it breaks out, let's say like right here, man, we are looking at 1300 Ethereum and back into this channel. That would be devastating. That would basically guarantee Ethereum creating a lower low. I mean, there is this key level of support here at 14K essentially, and also this VWAP is at 1450. So if this is a bear flag, um, yeah, we could see prices go as low as 13K. Now, but if it's a channel, channels work completely different. Channels, essentially they play out something like this, where you kind of get some consolidation um, within the channel, and then it breaks down. And usually, when it breaks down, it goes back to the base, which would be back basically at 1450. So that would be less intense. Now, the difference between a bear flag and a rising channel is the length, essentially. So this is going to be interesting. I mean, the next pivot to the downside will be pretty crucial. But yeah, you can definitely use the TSI, the market cipher indicator, and the MACD to really kind of figure out if this is a base forming or if it's just kind of consolidating and then ultimately creating a fresh set to continue to the downside. So there's a lot of days in between that resolution, but frankly, you know, currently the whole sweet indicator is green, which indicates bullish. So there is things to be happy about in regards to the overall trend if you're a bull. And as you go higher into more relevant time frames, as you can see, the whole sweet indicator is slowly turning green. And when the price is above the whole sweet indicator, and as you can see, the whole sweet indicator is kind of curling. That's a really good sign for actual like macro swings. Yeah, but if you go like on the what's really interesting, not gonna lie, is like the daily time frame. The daily time frame as it stands is kind of showing that issue where price is below the 9 exponential moving average still, and also it is below the whole sweet indicator. But yesterday was a huge instance where it actually broke above it. and that's great because you want price to get used to breaking above the whole suite indicator, because once that happens, it just shows weakness. And also you want the 9 exponential moving average to cross the whole suite, which is still it's going to take some time, obviously. But as you can see, the whole suite indicator is getting tagged by that let me turn off the candles so you can actually see the 9. Yeah, the 9 is kind of tagging the bottom of the whole suite, so that's really good to see. And if you go to the 12 hour here, the 12 hour is a precursor to the daily, of course. This is actually, not only did it cross it, but it backtested the whole suite as support for now. There was an entire day of bearishness, so that was an issue, obviously. But yeah, seeing this, in my opinion, to see us upward sloping whole suite on the 12 hour is a good sign for me. Yes, it's below the 9 exponential moving average, but you know, the whole suite, I'm sorry, the Bollinger Bands, as you can see here, is showing support all the way down at 1481. So that to me is like really constructive because it's actually above the VWAP. So with everything that I've talked about, everything that I'm kind of covering, it does show that we are bottoming out. In my opinion, this huge bounce today and the cross back up was huge. So I do feel that we are in an instance where the bulls are regaining control of the overall market. Now, in the very intraday term, we are seeing some overextension, which is not bad. I mean, like, I have some spot ETH going on, you know what I mean? I'm really, really happy that the price is pumping, but from my trader's perspective, I am looking for better positions to eventually come about either later on tonight or maybe tomorrow, but I do expect some time to see the 1,519, 1,520 mark tagged, because this was such strong resistance. As you can see, when price pumped all the way up, it not only back tested once, but basically this entire, for how long? Basically for 4.5 hours roughly. And once it broke, it just went off to the races and created this parabolic pump that we're currently seeing at this time. So going back to it, yeah, I do expect this to eventually get tagged. I mean, I could be completely wrong. As you can see, price is like breaking through right now, so that's interesting to see. It's good to catch this in real time because volatility, I think, is picking up from the lower term time frames. Let me see. Yeah, volatility is picking up again. Interesting. Okay. Well, yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'm really glad that this overall trend, this broadening descending wedge, has been broken out. It was a rough ride. It was a rough ride. We broke out, hit staunch resistance basically at 1650, got gnarly rejection, came back, tagged it again, and successfully, in my opinion, have garnered that. So yeah, if anything, if 1560 gets broken, I mean, it's a clear sailing, it's smooth sailing, if you will, all the way back up to 1630. That's interesting to see here on the 4 hour, something I'm keeping my eyes on. But anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. Yeah, if you haven't liked the video already, please do so. That is digital currency in YouTube land, so I've been heard, so I've been told. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you think that we're going to hold support, or do you think this is a fake out until we actually break below 15K to then test the VWAP or maybe even go lower? Yeah, your opinions are greatly appreciated. Take care. Have a great one. Bye-bye.